Hi, my sexy best friends. So, I just wanted to do like a refreshed, updated introductory video for my page. I haven't done an introduction on my page and probably since I got TikTok, to be honest. If I did one then, I don't know. I don't even know. I know I definitely did one on another platform, but yeah, so without getting a strike, I'm going to try to introduce myself as best as I can. My name is Dree. I I have so many like different things that I could say. I do content creation, but it is more on the education spectrum. I talk about a lot about sensual liberation, self love, body positivity, and I educate on sex and pleasure. I mostly promote sexual pleasure for, or the discovery of sexual pleasure for Black women for the most part, because I myself am a Black woman and I know how sex was always used as a shame mechanism, and it's just always been ingrained in us that we aren't supposed to really like it, or if we like it too much or whatever, we are considered, like a slut, whore, all of that type of stuff. And that's women in general, but speaking from a Black girl's perspective who was raised in the church and having religion be a big issue as well, and then also just kind of navigating the intersectionality of being a Black, being a woman, being queer, and all the things, and just having all the odds against you, and just telling you that you can't enjoy pleasurable. Yeah. So I'm a pleasure activist. Yeah, I'm a pleasure activist. I am also what's called a kink enthusiast. And basically, what that is someone who is very enthusiastic about kink. And as I stated already, I'm a pleasure activist. And one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is that there are different kinks and things that you can do for pleasure that a lot of us Black folk don't be wanting to engage in because of trauma, historical trauma, and things like that. But I like to educate and show people a different way to be able to engage and enjoy. But yeah, soon to be a sex coach. I mean, I already have been doing sex coaching anyways. I've coached with my friends, people who, have just come to me and asked me for advice and things that they can do to improve their relationships with their partner. I've had men come up to me, women come up to me, and all types of things. I'm also a poly enthusiast. I love talking about poly. I was solo poly for about 4 to 5 years at one point. And right now I'm just going through a whole nother journey of celibacy and all that kind of stuff. But I still talk about sex a lot because I love it. I love the subject, and I think that we should normalize the conversation around it so that way, once again, we can remove shame and we can also properly educate. Like, if you think about the education that you've had about sex, what do you think about? Do you think about what your parents told you, the birds and the bees? Or did you have like a ridicule discussion around sex about don't bring no babies home? That was the type of conversation that I had. And then religion being thrown into it as well, how it's a sin, and save it for marriage. But we aren't taught what to do once we get married. We're also just not taught, like how not exploring with yourself, even if it's through masturbation, like not exploring for yourself does a huge disservice to you and your pleasure. So I talk about all of those things, and I also back it up. I am currently in school for my master's. I'm on my second semester for sex counseling. Well, critical sexuality studies with an emphasis in sex counseling. And I'm still toggling with the idea of what it is that I want to do career wise. There's so many avenues that I can go in, and I still have some time to figure it out. I don't know if I want to do counseling or just stick with coaching and just, actually get paid for it. I could also become a teacher. I was heavily considering teaching. I did a reading back in the day with someone, and she told me that my lineage were teachers, like, and it's destined for me to be a teacher, which is pretty much what I'm doing now. Yeah, and I just love the subject. I'm a baby author. I haven't published anything just yet, but we're speaking it into existence. I've curated a collection of stories that I am going to soon publish. Just erotica, some good stories too, some good stories. Like, I was one of those teenagers who snuck in her mama's room and grabbed that Zane book real quick and was reading it when they weren't looking. um, so erotica has always stuck with me. I've always loved writing. I've always been a creative writer as well. I went to a performing arts school in high school. Not for creative writing. I didn't get in, which is crazy. I had a really compelling story that I even wrote, but whatever. But I was in theater. I'm a theater kid, and I just have a wild imagination. I used to write erotica in high school, y'all. This is how deep I am into this subject. But I just wanted to come on here and reintroduce myself to those who do not know me. I know that I've had a host of followers follow me since, starting my journey as a podcaster. I used to have a podcast called Edibles, where I used to have weekly guests, and we would just talk about sex from a normal girl's perspective. And then I transitioned when I went through a huge spiritual journey, a journey of finding myself and also just connecting with the higher power. And I went by the name of the Sacral Genie. I still go by that, honestly. I loved that name because I was just focused on the sacral chakra, which hosts if you know anything about your chakras, it's your second chakra, that is like above your navel. And it hosts your emotions, your creativity, your pleasure, your sexual pleasure, and so much more. But yeah, so I went by the Sacred Genie because I also believe in sex magic, and we can get into that another day. But not to make this too long-winded, I didn't even want to be on here for more than 3 minutes, and we're here at 7. So I'm going to conclude it there. Thank you for following me. Thank you for, engaging with me. I have been shadow banned, especially on TikTok. It's so hard for sex educators and, just enthusiasts in general to make, a living through content creation on these platforms because of the subject type. So we have to get very creative with how we word things, with how we spell things, all of that stuff. So if you see some weird spellings of certain words, don't be alarmed. I'm trying to trick the system. But just, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Keep it cute. But be free to ask, okay? I love y'all. Spread love and positivity to those around you. And if there's nobody around you, make sure you give it all to yourself. All right? Love y'all.